Round one, food is on Nick Austin.
They said the Hunger Games was just a story, just fiction, a dystopia draped in drama and desperate children. But I've seen real districts divided by zip codes and skin tones. Watch capital elites toast champagne over crumbling cities with forts full of genocide and gentrification. They season their steaks in silence, while the rest of us lick hope off empty spoons. This ain't Pan Am, but damn if it don't pan out the same. You see, we don't get reaped once a year. We are grimly woken up to war zones every morning, a daily labor of trying to survive in a world where odds are never in our favor. We fight for food, for housing, for a future, all while billionaires binge on planet-sized portions and toss us leftovers like fallen satellites to satisfy our appetites. It's a buffet of brutality, and still they ask of me, why are you so angry? As if we didn't just watch another forest fall. Sacrifice at the altar of profit. Also, some CEO could print paper from Pope and call it progress. Even the air thickens like an air fryer no one cleans. We breathe in what they burn out. And don't get me started on the distortedly devout, the ones in the church who constantly put the ain't in saints, cosplaying conviction as if they ain't this close to catching fire. You supposed to be full on the bread of life, and yet you lick the plate clean and ask for seconds. You binge on blessings, choke down communion, sip grace from gold goblets and call it sacrifice. And then you have the nerve to quote Jesus while hoarding Teslas and tax breaks. You shout, I'm blessed. But you skip the part where Christ was flipping tables in temples that look a lot like your mega church. Tell me again how gluttony ain't your golden calf. Tell me how good love thy neighbor tastes when it's deep fried in consumerism. You blaspheme the name of the risen king between your lifestyle and your greed. Don't you see how you need to stop the ways you keep mocking Jay? I'm tired of pretending silence is sanctuary, tired of all the cowards and collars who see the hunger, but still say grace before devouring the world. I know we all see it, the rot, the waste, all the hungry mouths forced to fast out of necessity instead of faith. Let's face it, most of y'all are just too scared to call it out. Or maybe too mesmerized by the promises of mammon they swear they'll give you. Luckily, there's never been a cat in this spirit. So if somebody gotta stir the pot, I volunteer as tribute.
Round one, food is on Ayesha Hicks.
Y'all wanna hear my favorite joke? Yeah. Okay. It's what do you call a fake noodle? Yeah, I knew somebody knew it. An imposter, okay. Kind of like how refined flour be posing like it ain't poison. Whole time, whole grain be half garbage. You know, sometimes I be feeling like a fake noodle, an imposter. Like when I be cooking these poems on these stoves turned to stages, imposter syndrome seasons itself like a salty wound. Chews its way right through my food and my faith in myself. Yo, inside I be boiling to the brim. Pissed off, wondering who do I think I am? Don't I know that these stages used to be stoves that have burned better pasta and poets than me? But then I learned how to make my noodles from scratch. And I be al dente now, cause whole time, a wholesome perception of the body I breathe in is only as organic as the food and the faith that I fed it, so I made this the last poem. That imposter syndrome found itself a place setting at my dinner table, but tonight, y'all, I'll let it sit there and watch me eat.
Round 2, politics as usual, is on Nick Austin.
Why must I bear the burden of making you a better white person? It is not the job of the oppressed to teach their oppressors how to stop oppressing them, to stop wrongfully arresting them, swallowing them whole and digesting them, breaking them down with their acids and convincing the masses that the person doing the eating and the person being eaten are somehow equal in their evils. My people had to wait 400 plus years just to be considered people. And even then, Jim Crow flapped its left and right wings and gave us a sequel. They said racism died with desegregation. And reality has been passed down from generation to generation like a hand-me-down. They convinced us that receiving welfare is only considered a handout if the hand is brown. And you can murder a man in cold blood and still claim self-defense as long as the man is brown. But there's royalty in my blood, so I know you only spill it because you can't stand my crown. If you ever try to confront me or any of my loved ones and try to stand your ground, I'm not standing down. I will make it my mission to put you in the same position Sandra Bland was found. 10 years later, it's still hashtag say her name. This shit is my reality, it's not a game. Even though it's called life, the United States of America will never be all right as long as we keep re-electing racist motherfuckers who want to make it all white, and we could do this all night. But before you try to tell me you can't be racist because you only have sex with black women or black men, or you got a bunch of black friends, or you saw Black Panther 3 times in the movie theater, so there's no way that my black skin could ever be something you would hate me for. I need to know, what kind of fool do you take me for? Speaking of Michael B. Jordan, I saw the movie Sinners, and it taught me a valuable lesson that we have to be careful about who we welcome into our spaces. This ain't a joke, my people, because some of those same pro-black faces look identical to the same ones that want to smoke my people. Let's keep it a stack. I'm not saying that you hate blacks, but your dad does. Or maybe it's your mother, or your brother. Or maybe somewhere there's a black boy being held behind bars, being held without bond because your sister lied and said he forcibly kissed her, or whistled at her, or groped her, even though he's only 9 and the surveillance footage said otherwise. So yeah, maybe you just know one of the other guys that tell the other lies. You know, Barbecue Becky, Permit Patty, Corner Store Caroline, because historically minorities can't touch white women or else it's hammer time. They see black people in public having fun as a problem. And the solution is to call 911 to stop them. And then they have the audacity to play the victim when the cops come. Stop twisting the facts and resisting the stats and treat me like a criminal. My only crime is existing while black. You never keep that same energy for white boys, so your fake huffing and puffing ain't nothing but white noise. Make the right choice. Stop remaining silent in situations where your voice is vital. Remaining idle makes you just as liable. Your fingers are just as guilty as the ones pulling the trigger. Your lips are just as complicit as the ones calling me nigger. There will be no invitation to the cookout if you don't look out for the ones on the grill. No to-go plate if you don't show face at the marches for the ones getting killed. Fuck how you feel and fuck what you gotta say. Actions speak louder than words, so you gotta show me today that you truly one of the good ones. Or else, I'll just consider you one of the bad guys too. Because white fears and white tears don't matter more than black lives do.
Round 2, politics as usual, is on Ayesha Hicks.
So there's this common saying, I can never remember it when I need to, but it's something like, you've made your bed. That's it, okay. So obviously most of us have done so on more than one occasion, suffered in the sheets and shams of our own choices, rested in the refuge that we would soon know to be our biggest fears. In 1880, James Marion Sims, also known as the father of modern gynecology, developed sinister surgical tools and traumatic techniques regarding women's reproductive health. Without anesthesia, Sims exclusively conducted his inhumane research and experiments on enslaved black women, mothers that were forced to lay down in beds they never made, their bodies cut open without regard, having no choice but to not resist. And this master of manipulative and misleading modern medicine cared more about preparing for his patent than he did his patients, branding generational traumas on my people by operating under the racist notion that those black bodies ain't feel no pain. Now, in 2017, I would give birth to my first son, and he was an emergency C-section. So nurtured by the idea of a natural birth, I did not educate myself on epidurals or any anesthesia that would make me forget the discomfort of the bed I laid in. My biggest fear was not being given a fair dosage, worried about any misuse of my body, laying in Massa's bed while he operated under racist notion that this black body ain't feel no pain. Me, reluctant to lay down, yet still abandoning my instincts just to be cut open anyway, having no choice but to not resist. I mean, who's to say that when the needle of white fragility pierces my melanated skin, that my cells aren't being harvested without my consent? Is this practice not the same system that condoned the exploitation of Henrietta Lacks? Have they subjected my fate to the like of mothers before me, bleeding out and dying on their backs? So when I write, I let the poetry of those mothers wade in the waters that never broke. The ones that drowned in the seas underneath the ships that never intended to set us free in their honor. When I tell my sons of their blackness, I start with the history of their births, how my feel for heart and till for prayers brought forth the sweet relief of their cries. In those moments, I decided that when I teach my daughter about her body, she will know these truths. And the trials of the women before her, she will know that she doesn't have to lay in any bed that she didn't make.
Round 3, Apex, is on Nick Austin.
Hello, class. Welcome to Grammar 101, aka the art of articulation. Let's start with the basics. Present tense is for what's real right now, as in I teach, you listen, we learn. Isn't that beautiful? The present is a gift wrapped in subject and verb and tied in clarity. Syntax with sunshine, like every word is a heartbeat. On the flip side is past tense. That's where the verbs fall behind, like he laughed, she walked, they were. The past is polite, but painful. It tells the truth even when you don't want to hear it. And it never asks for permission. It just shows up like a red pen marking everything that used to be, but no longer is. Sadly, no one teaches you how grammar becomes grafted to grief. How one day you're talking about your cousin Tyler's future, and the next, you're forced to switch tenses. Tyler is laughing, is breathing, is beaming with every smile he ever earned, until last February, put a period where a comma should have been, all for one wrong turn. You see, he should have went left, but he took a right. And then someone took a knife and they took his life. They carved his chest into an ellipsis, bleeding out every word he never got to say. And now every sentence about him feels like an obituary. I hate this unwelcome autocorrect, this forced past tense, because now Tyler was smart. Tyler was full of soul. Tyler was 16 and alive until someone left him full of holes. But unfortunately, language doesn't make space for resurrection. No subject-verb agreement for the dead. No rule in the textbook for how to conjugate I miss you. The bell does not dismiss you. Grief does. It writes your lesson plan in lowercase. When you lose loved ones from your circle, it grades your silence on a curve, and it always has the final word. That's why today's lesson about punctuation was never about punctuation. It's about how pain punctures you, and we still spell love, even when the letters cut so fucking deep. I'm sorry. But if I ever slip up and say, my cousin is, let me fail this test with flying colors. Because sometimes the only way to honor the dead is to speak of them as if they're still alive in the art of your language. Class dismissed.
Round 3, Apex, is on Ayesha Hicks.
If I could start it all over, I'd give up everything just to find you first, so I could fall into love frantically, free from regret, mistakes, or kisses stolen too soon. I traded all just for the chance of transparency, the truth of how you really feel about me or us, and the damage we could do to this disaster that most are too desperate to even call it love. Hi, my name is Ayesha, and I suffer from missing way too many moments in time. My memory can only hold but so many misplaced pages, y'all. I've tried to rearrange it, but lately, the mechanism that mines my mental health has been askew. Most days, I don't know if I'm just overstimulated or feeling the crushing weight of an opportunity overdue, but something tells me that ain't this how our story always goes? We find each other lost, broken, but built to be able to put the pieces back together. We play tug of war till bodies drop like bullet casings, causing more damage than the ricochet ever could, and we're constantly fighting for love, but never our own. Only the freedom for others to feel what we've come to know as a resurrection, the grand rising of something dead, the reincarnation of something real. So next time, could we please just find each other first without having to fail or forget? One day, could we just start all over? Something tells me they will always be worth it.
Bars, Ayesha, come back up, please. Come get y'all flowers. Come on. Give it up for them, y'all.